What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Mac on Sports Podcast, episode 69. Gronk would be proud. And what do you know, guys? Can you believe it? We've made it 69 podcasts right now. Talk about an absolute grind. Every single one, we've strived to get better. And if you've made it from episode 1 to 69, shout out to you. You're absolutely a true supporter. And if you've caught on during this little run of numbers that we've sparked up on, because we've had great numbers over the last couple of months, shout out to you. All the support is amazing, and I greatly appreciate every single one of you. You guys all mean the same to me, so I love you guys. But happy episode 69. 69, usually you would want to start on a good note, but we're going to have to start it off on a bad note here. Unfortunately, Terrence Clarke passed away. Terrence Clarke's my age. It just shows you how fast life can come. You know, it can end in a minute. You could be on top of the world, and it could end in a second. If you guys don't know what happened, Terrence Clarke, 19-year-old kid, went to Kentucky, played basketball his freshman year, declared for the draft, went out to Los Angeles, worked out with his trainer, BJ Boston, and Wednesday afternoon, Terrence Clarke signed his NBA contract, or with his agency. That's your dream. You've worked towards your dream to try to go to the NBA, but you got to start with an agency somewhere. And he got his agency. He signed it. He got himself some money. He's on top of the world, celebrating with his best friend BJ, and I'm sure other people out in Los Angeles. You're on as high as a mountain as you can get. You just signed your first agency. You're getting money that you've dreamed of as a kid, all that. And that next day, on Thursday, to end up going to a workout, leaving the workout, and unfortunately getting into a crash and passing away. It's so unbelievably sad because Terrence was a kid, from what I heard, that was always smiling, a bundle of joy, ball of energy, super happy, 24/7. And, you know, it sucks to know how fast life can come at you in an instant. Imagine being his mother. You as a parent, you should bury your child. A parent should never have to bury their child. And that just is so unfortunate for Terrence and his family. Everybody involved that was close to Terrence. The whole basketball team. Kentucky's basketball team did a candlelight ceremony. The players shows their maturity by celebrating their friend. I mean, these kids are 18 to 21, 22-year-old kids and very mature for their age. Good remembrance for Terrence, and sucks. Prayers for BJ Boston. BJ Boston was in the car behind Terrence Clarke. BJ Boston saw the wreck happen. That's something you're never going to be able to get out of your head. You have to revision that, or replay that in your head time after time after time. BJ Boston's also a 19-year-old kid. He's got his future ahead of him. And that's his best friend. That's something you're never going to be able to get over. And prayers for BJ, prayers for Terrence Clarke and his family, everybody involved, and especially, you know, Kentucky, Big Blue Nation, right? Feels like you knew the kid. Even if you don't, it felt like you knew the kid. If anybody comes through the Kentucky program, no matter what sport, it feels like you know the kid. It's been a tough year for Kentucky. Coach Sharman died of cancer, offensive line coach. Ben Jordan died, baseball and basketball player, and now Terrence. It's been rough. But hopefully Terrence Clarke and his family will do okay. But it's something you never want to have to go through as a parent. And it's a sad, sad thing. And it just shows the whole city of Boston, how much they love Terrence Clarke. As a Celtic fan myself, I didn't know it, but I knew he came from Boston. But I didn't know how much the city of Boston truly loved him. And if I'm the Celtics, I'm drafting him with the number 61 pick in the draft. If I'm Adam Silver, I let the Celtics have the 61st pick of the draft. Terrence was a diehard Red Sox fan, diehard Celtic fan, wanted to play for the Celtics in the NBA, and I really hope Adam Silver, with the 61st pick, lets the Boston Celtics draft him, because that would be a great way to honor him, because this kid had a great future ahead of him, and he could have definitely done something special in the NBA, and you never want to see this happen to absolutely anybody. So, rest in peace, Terrence Clarke, and hopefully Kentucky will be playing in his memory next year and many more years to come. But we got to jump into something on a higher, happier note. And we're sticking with the Kentucky theme for here for a second. How about the Kentucky volleyball champions? Yes, they're champs. Kentucky volleyball, shout out to them. Let's go. Let's go. You love to see it. First of all, I can tell you I knew nothing about volleyball, but I sat through and watched this tournament from game 1 to the championship. They rattled off a couple good teams, rattled off Purdue, rattled off Washington, and in the championship, horns down, took down Texas. Kentucky won their first ever women's national volleyball championship. I loved it. The SEC now has a national championship in all of 21 sports. Every single one. The SEC team has won it. You know why? In the SEC, their slogan is, it just means more. And you know what? It does. It just means more. Shout out to the Kentucky girls. Wow. Let me tell you, Madison Lilly, player of the year for a reason. She was amazing. The Skinner sisters, amazing. Craig Skinner, coach of the year. He's been in there for 13 years, I believe, 16 years, one of those. And he's turned the program around and national champs. If you really know me, you know that I love Kentucky anything. So you put anything Kentucky on, I'm going die hard for it. Would I have rather it have been football or basketball? Of course. Of course, I really would. But hey, I'll take volleyball. That's a start in the right direction. Shout out to them. They worked their ass off this year. Gabby Curry, I mean, all these girls at Kentucky, they deserve it. They're amazing. It was fun to watch. Now, can somebody tell me, though, when it comes to volleyball, when you lose a point, why in the hell, like, you do your little huddle, you're giving out high fives and celebrating with a smile on your face. That's one thing I don't think I'm ever going to figure out about volleyball, because I saw that happening multiple times on Saturday night in the Kentucky-Texas game and throughout the tournament where, like, let's say, for instance, Texas went on a 6-0 run against Kentucky once, and Kentucky's smiling, high-fiving, and cheering, and I'm just sitting at the TV, and I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? They're on a 6-0 run. We're smiling. I don't understand that. I'm sure it has something to do with volleyball tradition, culture. I don't know. If someone could, text me on my social medias, that will be left in the descriptions. Please tell me, because I don't understand what the hell that was. But volleyball seems like a hard sport. And some of the rules, oh my Lord, I don't understand some of them. We're national champs. That's what we're going to stick with. Go Cats. State Street was going electric on Kentucky in Lexington. I mean, we had stuff burning in the streets. Lexington was an absolute party at State Street. It always is when a big win happens for the program with Kentucky. I remember Kentucky, Florida, there was cars being flipped over and everything, and now volleyball. Good to see the school spirit. Shout out Cats. Go Big Blue. Now, Tatis Jr. Wow. This guy's a stud. Fernando Tatis Jr., we've talked about him before because of his mega contract that he got. Is he a face of baseball? That's an argument that a lot of people have. Is he? Is he not? I think he is. But here's what I get with baseball writers, right? Saturday night, Trevor Bauer versus Fernando Tatis was such a good battle. Oh my God. It was Tatis homered on Bauer twice, which is insanely hard to do on Trevor Bauer out of anybody. And he hits his first homer. He does his little one eye closed thing because in spring training, Trevor Bauer did one eye closed and threw a pitch to the Padres. Padres felt a little disrespected, whatever. That's just the way Trevor Bauer is. He's trying to make baseball fun. Exactly. And so he does that little celebration. And then the second one, he ends up doing his little Conor McGregor strut. Well, that's what Trevor Bauer is kind of known for on one of his celebrations. So Trevor Bauer has a YouTube channel. If you haven't watched it, it's just called Trevor Bauer. Go look it up because it's great videos, gives you behind the scenes of what goes through an MLB season, day in the lives, everything. Well, he broke down all this between him and Tatis Jr. And you have these old baseball writers. Oh, you shouldn't be celebrating like that. Don't celebrate like that. You can't have fun. Oh, shut the hell up. Baseball, make baseball fun again. Trevor Bauer's over here. He's trying to make baseball fun while you got these old baseball writers just pain in the asses. But, yes, he's making it fun. And everyone's like, oh, Bauer's going to be pissed at Tatis. No, he's not. He embraced it. He loves this type of stuff. Like, even in the press conference for the Dodgers at the end of the game, they were like, hey, did you feel a little disrespected by what Tatis was doing on his celebrations, banging his chest, doing all that? Bauer was like, no, it makes baseball fun. It brings viewers into our game, which it does. Baseball, you have to show your passion. Why I love Ronald Acuna Jr., what does Ronald do? Ronald shows a hell of amount of passion. He is trying to win every single game out of 162 games. He doesn't want to lose. Now, these guys that say, oh, hit your home run, keep your head down, run the bases, don't cause any scenes, stop. Fernando is having fun. And if they're having fun, it makes the game better. And Bauer on his YouTube channel took no disrespect towards it. He gave credit to Tatis Jr. And they have a nice little battle going back and forth on social media, chirping each other, but it's just all fun and games. Now, we do know the Padres and the Dodgers do have a little bad beef, where there has been a couple of bench clearing incidents. No punches or anything, but just a couple incidents like that. But, it's just Bauer's being a good sport, and Tatis Jr., unbelievable. 5 home runs in 3 games. 5 homers in 3 games. That's not too bad, if you would ask me personally. I don't think 5 homers in 3 games is that bad. I don't think 5 home runs in 11 plate appearances against the Dodgers would be bad either. That seems to be a pretty productive thing. Also, the good, there's going to have to be some bad that comes with it. And Fernando Tatis is the first field player with 9 errors in the first 15 games. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that's absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. Some teams in the MLB don't even have 9 errors on the season. So not an ideal situation. He's a young player and he's going to grow. But back to my thing about face of baseball. When people are like, oh, Fernando Tatis is the face of baseball. All right, wasn't a week ago Ronald Acuna the face of baseball? Hasn't it been for years Mike Trout? When one player has an electrifying week like Tatis is having and Acuna had last week, why do we have to say they're the face of baseball? Why can't we just embrace it? We know LeBron's the face of basketball because he's arguably one of the greatest players of all time. But in baseball, having all these guys is great. It expands the game. Mike Trout's the best player in baseball, okay? Don't even try to argue. I love Ronald Acuna, and I would love to say he's the best, but he's not. It's Mike Trout. And Fernando Tatis is fun to watch, and maybe he will be the best player in baseball one day. Maybe Acuna will. Maybe Juan Soto. All those type of guys. Mookie Betts is definitely up there. There's no one face in baseball. It's a collective group. Jacob deGrom, can't forget him. Oh my God, he's disgusting when he's pitching. I mean, some of his stuff's filthy. But you just got to spread the love. And all these baseball writers saying, oh, he's face baseball. Now he's the face of baseball this week. He's the face of baseball. Just embrace what you have. This is a great generation of players you have right now with some of the older generations like Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, Bryce Harper, and then you have the new coming generation of Juan Soto, Ronald Acuna, and Fernando Tatis Jr. Embrace it while you have it, because there's some very good baseball players right now, and some players, I love their passion, and they're making the game of baseball fun. Now, that takes me into my next thing. You know what's not fun? Having to watch the Atlanta Braves play this year. I know we've talked about the Braves plenty of times, but I will talk about them right here, right now. Here's why. The Braves sit at 9-12 on the season now. So let me tell you, I'm going to tell you right now, that is what I personally would call pathetic. I don't know about you, but that goes by pathetic by me. This team's supposed to be a contender. Yeah, not quite ideal, right? Now, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with the record. I know they have a lot of injuries. I know their pitching's horrible. But I'm not going to put this all on the pitching. I'm absolutely disgusted on what they did Sunday afternoon against the Arizona Diamondbacks. No disrespect to the Arizona Diamondbacks, but if you would ask the common person to name usually maybe the most least relevant baseball team that can come to their head, no disrespect to Diamondback fans, please, but it's the Diamondbacks. They're an irrelevant team. Oh my Lord. And they're not even good this year. Yes, they have a decent record, but they're not talented. Now they're a close group, and that's what's putting together wins for them. So shout out to them. I'm not taking anything away from them. I'm just saying, the Braves played a doubleheader on Sunday and had one hit. One hit. They got a no-hitter. Doesn't technically count as a no-hitter because it was a 7-inning game, but Madison Bumgarner kicked the Braves' ass. And I was disgusted because game 1, Freddie Freeman got a hit in the 5th inning. We almost got a no-hit there. And then luckily we bailed ourselves out. And then game 2, we just decided to leave the bats in the dugout because I could have gone up there, you could have gone up listening, and done just as good as the Braves in game 2. That's just unbelievably disgusting to watch. The Braves had 1 combined hit in the doubleheader. That is the fewest in an MLB doubleheader history. Atrocious. That's disgusting. Look, if this team had some cushion, like the Dodgers, the Padres, the Red Sox, like what they've done to start the year, I'm not mad. You're going to have days like these. But oh my God, the continuous, wow. Oh Lord, it is poor. It's just pathetic. It's horrible. It's awful. It's Ronald Acuna against everybody else. Freddie Freeman's starting to chip in. Freddie's doing his stuff. But after that, geez Louise, go put the single A team up there. They'll put a better effort than what the Braves batting have done this year. This is getting pathetic. This is getting outrageous. 1 hit in 2 games? That's disgusting. That's disgusting. Get it together. Get it together. 9-12. Not happy about that. The hitting woes are just absolutely outrageous, and I just needed to get that one off my chest because that doesn't make me happy as a fan. And I think our pitching's absolutely atrocious. We're not going to get into that. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Hitting woes. A high school baseball team could do better. That's pathetic. Get the hell out of here. Now, Jake Paul. We need to talk about good old Jakey Poo. I hate Jake Paul. I'm sure most of you guys listening hate Jake Paul. I'm not the biggest Jake Paul guy. And I was watching, besides Kentucky volleyball, once again, shout out the Cats, on Saturday night, I was watching a little UFC too. And Daniel Cormier gets into it with Jake Paul. So in the Impulsive podcast made by Logan Paul and 2 of his friends, Jake Paul, has a little thing where he says, I would kick Daniel Cormier's fat ass. Okay, so let me stop you right there, Jake. Ben Askren was sitting on his couch for like 13, 14, 15 months. I get that he's a UFC fighter, but he retired. He's not in the peak shape of his life. By the way, 120,000% that fight's rigged. Nobody's changing my mind. When you want to call out a guy like that, that's fine. You want to go call out a guy like Daniel Cormier, who stepped in the cage with one of the baddest mother effers in the world and John Bone Jones, and some other UFC guys? Okay, good luck. Good luck, because you can call out Daniel Cormier, and then when he comes and confronts you, please fight him. Please fight him. Because I know Daniel Cormier is not going to take a fight that's going to be rigged. He's not in for the money. The whole entire UFC hates Jake Paul. There's so many people in the UFC that really wants to absolutely knock him out. And Jake Paul's not going to stop being an absolute asshole because he's making money off of it, which in some aspects I respect the hell out of because he's making a crap ton of money. A crap ton. He's baiting these fighters into fights with them, and he's making a just crap ton of money. Now, if Daniel Cormier ends up somehow being able to fight Jake Paul, I hope to God this won't be fixed because Daniel Cormier would absolutely kick Jake Paul's ass. It would be a lovely, lovely, lovely thing to see. Now, second of all, Tyson Fury called out Jake Paul. If you don't know him, he's an actual real professional boxer that's actually good. Now, this can make a lot of pay-per-views. And you know what's great about this? This is a real boxer. Jake would stand no chance. Tyson Fury would absolutely 1-2 piece him. See you later. Sleep night-night. See you later. That'd be great. Jake KO'd on the mat. Oh, my God. That'd be lovely to see. But what I'm getting at with Jake is when you call out these, regular YouTubers and fight YouTubers, that's whatever. That's like a regular person. When you go and fight Ben Askren, get the hell out of here. I like your commitment, but that was rigged. But when you want to go after guys like Daniel Cormier, Conor McGregor, first of all, please step in a ring with Conor McGregor. He'll give you brain damage. Don't do that because he'll actually give you CTE. Same with Daniel Cormier. Now you're starting to play with fire. It's all fun and games right now behind like a little phone and, screen. But now in person, when Daniel Cormier comes and confronts you, good luck. If you actually have a real fight with Cormier and Conor, I would love to see it. I would buy it. I would buy it because Dana White, the UFC president, hates Jake Paul. Hates him. And I would love to see Dana actually work a contract out with Jake, get him in the UFC for one fight, really humble his ass. That'd be a lovely, lovely sight to see. Jake Paul's an asshole. Everybody hates him. And if you don't, well, hey, I think you're one of the only ones in the world. So shout out to you. But Daniel Cormier would absolutely 1-2 piece him. Sticking with the UFC for a second. Oh, this was gross. This was gross. Chris Weidman fighting Uriah Hall. Tries to get him with the leg kick. He broke his leg. He kicked the guy's leg and broke his own leg. And it's disgusting. It's a video that you're going to want to look up at your own cost because it is gross. Not my cup of tea per se. I think I almost did. Yeah, I almost threw up when I saw it. It's a disgusting injury. People say, could it be karma? I don't know. If you don't know what I'm referring to, in 2013 when he took on Anderson Silva had this same injury and snapped his leg in half, and Chris Weidman was celebrating. Whereas Uriah Hall had to look away and just sit down out of respect and probably in shock that it was that gross of an injury. But yeah, Chris Weidman got stretchered out of the octagon. It was disgusting. Like I said, if you look it up, do it at your own cost, because it is really, really, really gross. Really gross. And yeah, 17 seconds too. It's not even like you got a good 4 rounds in, 3 rounds in, because it wasn't a main event. So 3 rounds, 2 rounds. No, you trained and trained and trained, and 17 seconds into your fight, your leg is snapped into like 1 piece or 2 piece. Gross, just gross. And first of all, if you're a UFC fighter, I've had this talks with a couple people that I know. Why in the hell would you want to be a fighter, just even a boxer in your life? Like, why do you want to put yourself in harm's way to get your face absolutely bashed in? I'm never going to be able to understand that. I understand that some people just love the adrenaline of fighting and all that, but you're getting punched in the face. Personally, now, I don't know about you guys. I personally would rather not be punched in the face or punched in my body or anywhere else. I kind of like not having pain in my upper area or lower areas, personally. Not a fan of getting punched. So, as a UFC or boxer, why do you? I don't know why they just live for it, but they do. Because when I'm watching the UFC or boxing, and let's say for the UFC, if a guy's getting absolutely grounded and pounded, just getting their face bashed in the mat, why? Well, like, that hurts. I know you make a lot of money off of it, but then 5 months later, when you're ready to go for your next fight, like, do you not just remember what happened to you? You're getting your face bashed in. Like, I don't know. And I get, for Conor McGregor's sakes, like, you know, it changed his whole life, fighting. He went from a high school janitor to becoming one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. Definitely the most entertaining and most net value worth fighters of all time. So yes, it changed his life, and now he's living his absolute best life. I get that, but we all have different, you know, things we're gonna do in life, and mine is not preferably getting my face bashed in. And I'm sure a lot of you guys listening could probably agree to that, but if you don't, hey, we all have our own opinions. So, and then one last thing to end the show. Manchester City wins the Carabao Cup against Tottenham. 1-0. Laporte gets one in the late 80th minute. Love it. Love it. Last week they got knocked out of the FA Cup against Chelsea. We're going for the quadruple. Ended up getting the treble. Hopefully they get the treble. Hopefully. If you don't know what the treble is, it's three trophies. So you can either get the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, Champions League, and the Premier League. 3 out of those 4. And City got 1. They play in the Champions League this week against PSG. One of the best players in the world, though, Mbappe, is questionable with an injury. As a soccer fan, you want to see Mbappe play. Me personally, as a City fan, I wouldn't mind if he missed this first leg. And yeah, hopefully City can bring home Champions League, and we'll see. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if the referees are going to absolutely rig it against City, because City was a part of the Super League and PSG wasn't. Maybe that's going to be a little consequences for City going. We shall see. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but just keep an eye out on it if you do decide to watch. The NFL Draft this Thursday. I was going to talk about a little draft preview, but I decided we might not have much to talk about on Thursday's show, the night of the draft. Let's dedicate that to be an NFL Draft type of show, right? So we'll see what happens over this week. It's going to ramp up. Who do you guys want your teams to pick? Preferably, as a Cowboy fan myself, I'd rather not get anybody on the offensive side of the ball unless Kyle Pitts drops, but hey, what the hell? Jerry Jones is an absolute wild card. So you never know what's going to happen with good old Jerry. We'll see. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the draft. We'll talk about that. And yeah, any big news? We'll break it down. Thank you guys for the continuous support. And episode 69, thought it was a good one. Not the way we wanted to start off with the Terrence news, but once again, rest in peace, Terrence Clarke. Prayers for BJ Boston. Prayers for Terrence Clarke and his family. And prayers for everybody that was, you know, what's the word? Affected. There you go. Affected by this tragedy and this unfortunate situation. So, I love you guys. Social medias will be in the description. Please, if you do play volleyball or know what the hell volleyball rules are or anything about that, please tell me why in God's name that the girls celebrate every point, even if they lose a point and seem super happy. But love you guys. Peace out.